Yo, what's up guys? So today we're going to be showcasing off a variant of Adamantia. This is going to be showing off a Koaki Dyna, and specifically Dyna, not like a Dino deck, but Falso Dyna basically destroys lots of different decks. I mean, without special summoning, most Yu-Gi-Oh decks simply can't function. And even playing through one negations over here, what it really comes down to is being able to not only acquire a few set of Synchro monsters that can stop your opponent from doing certain things, but in addition to that, you also have the backup of the Koakis negating, like specifically negating one monster effect, and then having a Falso Dyna. Your opponent doesn't really have a rebuttal play to this option, unless of course they literally go summon, attack over Falso Dyna, and then simply just pass, is what they might have to do, depending on the scenario. So what you're able to do with this deck variant is be able to not only survive with the Koakis having everything pretty much in the deck be rock anyways, so you have an easy reveal target, but the thing is that this also is able to stop a spell, trap card, or effect while you have a water monster in your graveyard, which is no big deal because that's usually going to be there for the 7 requirements. You also have the ability to make it so if something's activating a effect in the graveyard, you get to just banish it, and then on top of that you also again have this card to negate any monster effect, and then on top of that they only get really one monster effect anyways, because this is going to say, well, there's only one summon per turn in the first place, so that you just stop that, and then they just don't have a play other than attacking over Falso Dyna. Now, there are a few different other ways that you can utilize it, because technically with Adamantia, you also happen to have a card that has the effect where when a monster effect is activated, as long as you control an Adamantia Synchro monster, which, well, the deck is basically all about, you get to negate the activation and destroy that card. So, once again, you don't have to go for Koaki or Guardian. In fact, I would think going for the wall could be a great little option as well, because the only thing that would really stop an opponent when you have this board is maybe something like an impermanence, because like I said, they have to summon a monster and have no effect, and then just to try to attack over Falso Dyna. That's basically their play, and then they have to wait for main phase 2, and then you can again follow up with let's say Guardian or your other card. So it's kind of more of a first turn oriented deck, but this is showing you without even the Synchro monster, Falso Dyna just destroys decks. Like, it absolutely makes it so you can't really do too much. Now this one over here is against a guy that is playing a variant of True Draco. It looks like it's a Sky Striker variant. The other cards are basically just used for more, I would say, spells to go ahead and cycle through cards with Toy Vendor. I've seen this tech. It's actually not that bad. But this guy kind of cheap over here. Wait till you see what he actually draws into with his deck over here, because even though we're all playing the new Master Rule, of course there's going to be people like, you know what, I just the last few days of the deck, well, because tomorrow is going to be the new ban list, but this deck will be ready, of course, for the new ban list as well, and I think a lot of people are interested in playing Adamantia, and I want to go ahead and show you guys a lot of different varieties. So, once again, with Dragite, we're going to be able to just bounce back everything, give him all the cards back, and then basically lock them out of special summoning. And True Draco, well, they can kind of play around not being able to special summon, which could be an excellent, I guess, matchup for them technically, because they see Falso Dyna. It's like not that big of a deal. But in this instance, once again, it's just having one negation, and then they can't summon any more than that for the most part. Sometimes, again, they might have cards that allow them to go ahead and summon again. But this guy goes ahead and goes and cycles through a lot of cards. He's going to go ahead and shuffle and then draw some extra cards. Look at what this guy draws into. So he's going to go ahead and Draconic Diagram. He's going to go for Heritage, go for the Draw effect, and then go for the Tribute Summon. So he's going to be able to summon again, and he needs to get rid of the Falso Dyna. But the problem is once you get rid of the Falso Dyna, you're already in main phase 2, and then you still have to basically deal with your opponent's board, and Dragite's going to go ahead and just bounce everything back. He's going to go ahead and go for Kagari. And look, he's got those triple copy of Engages, which you will not see triple copies of Engages anymore. He's going to go ahead and activate this effect. You can go ahead and set a card, no problem, bro, because you know what's going to be happening? Well, they're just going to be bouncing back all the things, and with no monsters left on the field, you already know what's going to be happening. Dark Magician's going to be coming out. But I just like this build of it, because it's something a little bit different that I have not seen, and I think a lot of people have been playing Adamantia, and it is definitely a deck that I think a lot of people want to go ahead and mess around with. And now he's got Ray, and he's like, oh, you got that quick effect, no problem. But unfortunately, Dyna's going to go ahead and say, I'm sorry, mate. That's not going to be happening. And remember, with this card's effect, what's really insane with this, if you excavate the top 5 cards, and if you do, you can special summon one excavated level 4 or lower non-tuner rock monster. So you can literally RNG special summon Fossil Dyna, and your opponent just straight up loses for the most part. I wish there was something that forced your opponent to attack this, but again, at the end of the day, they can't special summon. You have a negate here. This is technically also another negate, but it's more specific. But again, you only really need to negate like one monster effect, and then there's no follow-up because they only can special summon 0 times, right? So that's pretty good. But anyways, now that you guys have seen it, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the deck profile for this Koaki Dyna Adamantia deck. And shout out to my boy Xhemoz for hooking me up with the gameplay here. There's also another card that I thought was interesting, which was the Tremid Hunter. When I first heard of Koakis in this, I was like, what are we on playing? Duel Links, man? And I don't even know Koakis are viable in Duel Links. Last time I played, they got nerfed. But the card that I wanted to mention, Koaki Meiru, Wall, which is over here, where this one can stop a spell card. I thought it was an okay card as well, but I think the card that you'd probably honestly want as far as the Koakis go, definitely Guardian and definitely Sandman are great as well. But Wall can also be quite a great card against lots of different decks. I mean, almost every deck will go ahead and add some kind of card via a searching effect anyways. But yeah, Sandman is probably the go-to card because of impermanence. Like, this card just sees so much play in every single Yu-Gi-Oh deck now. But anyways, guys, let's go and hop right into the deck profile, and then I'll kind of explain some of the things with the deck, because with the RNG of just getting out some of the free Koakis, maybe you can bump up the count, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on this deck variant, because honestly, I've never seen Koaki Meirus outside of Duel Links be competitive in Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, anyways, let's go and hop right into the deck profile. So first off, we have Nibiru, the Primal Being. This card is just solid, and plus it's also a rock. Not that there's that much synergy necessarily with this card, because it's obviously way too high of a level. But then we got one copy of Koaki Meiru Guardian, one copy of Sandman. I didn't get to show them off during the gameplay, but all it really comes down to is when your opponent goes ahead and activates a trap card, you contribute it and negate the activation, and then go ahead and destroy the card. I also wanted to mention, since you are going to be able to cycle through cards a lot, Block Dragon could be a great option as well, because Ties of the Brethren can be activated after you go through all your plays, after you excavate, do all those things. Block Dragon, I think, is just such a fantastic card because it makes it so rock-type monsters you control cannot be destroyed except for by battle, which would make this card even stronger. But keep in mind, you would have to technically get this card out first, just like you would, of course, with the Synchros. You make the Synchros before going for this play. I think this could be an excellent addition to this. I don't almost say I personally wouldn't really care too much about Tremid Hunter. I know it allows you to go to like another Synchro, lets you go for double Synchros, but I think the stronger play is literally just go for, I mean, if you're able to go ahead and drag out Block Dragon and then follow up with Fossil Dyna, and then either one of these, either Guardian or Sandman, I think Sandman would be better if you happen to have this, because at this point, you can negate the one monster effect because they can only summon once anyways, and that's a normal summon only. You negate that, and then they literally have no follow-up play other than maybe impermanencing this card, which you just go ahead and say no. And then on top of that, they can't destroy this card via another effect. Although this card kind of can protect it because it can stop any spell or trap in the first place. But I just wanted to go ahead and mention that, like, as far as like board potential, I think this card could be a great addition. I think a lot of people are already playing it, but we just didn't have it in this variant that you guys saw. But anyways, it's basically just going to be 3 copies of every single one of the Adamantia because, well, they're all pretty viable right now. So we have 3 copies of Analyzer. This is the one that just goes ahead and lets you special summon the non-tuner one via Excavation. And then we have Fossil Dyna, which is obviously really good. And then we have 2 copies of Leonite, 2 copies of Raptite, 3 copies of Dragite, which the water one I think is probably the more like go-to card people make turn 1. And then we have 2 copies of Tremid Hunter, which is just another free special summon. And again, it allows you to make that double Synchro plays, which I guess with this you have the option to banish one. And then this one allows you to target a rock monster rare and special summon. I still can't believe Fossil Knight can be special summoned. It's absolutely fantastic. But then we have 3 copies of Seeker, 3 copies of Researcher. A lot of these are just like go ahead and special summon, excavate, get some more free cards. Ties of the Brethren, which allows you to go ahead and go off with the plays and allows you to go for the Fossil Dyna. Like, this card is so OP in the deck. Yes, you leave one, you have to like leave an Adamantia up on the board in order for this to go through, but it's totally worth it because if you stop your opponent from special summoning and then you have, or you don't even have to go for Fossil Dyna, you could just go for a double of these and then you have a really nasty board turn turn 1. And if they don't do anything, because the thing is that if they set everything against your Fossil Dyna, right, this card literally bounces back all of the back row, everything, and just no monsters left on the field then, right? And you can usually throw up a board turn 1, so I like it for that. Then one copy of Terraforming, and then 1 copy of Reborn, 3 copies of Mallet. This card, I've been talking about this card for so long, and I honestly think it's like the new upstart with Yu-Gi-Oh, because turn 1 is all you really need in Yu-Gi-Oh. Who cares about the rest, right? And then 2 copies of Adamantia Sign, so lets you target a rock monster and special summon it, and then if it's Adamantia, you get like a bonus effect. And then 3 copies of Laputite. This is going to allow you to go ahead and stack your deck completely balanced with, of course, your water one, which gives you guaranteed bounce back at literally 5 cards. Super OP. And then we've got 2 copies in permanence, 1 copy of the Relief over here, which lets you, it's kind of like a surprise card, which again, a lot of times when you go for the ties, you leave 1 Adamantia and then you go ahead and just get rid of it, and then you get a pop 2. And then of course we have the Adamantia Resonance, which allows you to go ahead and stop it, and you're pretty much good to go. And you could stack your deck anyways and then go ahead and search off the cards, so it's pretty easy. Then we have 2 copies of each one of the Synchros. We didn't really see too much of Leonite, but most of the gameplays were kind of turn 1, I win, but that's kind of how a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh decks will be oriented, especially going even into the next format. But this has a quick effect of special summoning, so that's kind of nice. And then we have Granite Loyalist, we have the Astrum, we have Warlord, Unicorn, Phoenix, Brute Enforcer, Cerberus, IP Masquerena, and Gravity Controller, which this card is newer, and I think a lot of people will be taking this in. But as far as recommendations for you guys, I think I could definitely recommend throwing in Block Dragon, at least 1. Like, I would drop Tremid Hunter, and at this point you're at a 41 card deck, because this is just for the new Master Rule, and then you're pretty much good to go. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts on it. Even though the Koaki count is low, I like it, dude. I think that Koakis, they are so incredibly good in theory, but when you play them against most decks, they just fall apart really fast. But again, when you can combine the Koakis with some extra back row and also tell your opponent they cannot special summon after you special summon, it's pretty good, right? Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you are new here, want to keep up to date with more new Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Rule 2020, aka Master Rule 5, aka new ban list decks, I'm going to be uploading a lot more very soon. But Adamantia is getting a lot of hype, and there's so many variants, and I'll be covering a lot more. But if you guys are new here, like I said, subscribe so you guys don't miss out on the newer Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list decks. I'm going to be working on, actually I already have the gameplay footage of Dinos. I was actually streaming recently, and we got a bunch of footage coming out very soon for the new dinosaur list, because I think dinos will be very, very good for the next upcoming ban list, which is going to be coming out tomorrow. And if you guys want to send me any replays of the new ban list decks, yo, someone send me in some Sky Strikers, or someone send me in Orcas. I've heard it's still viable, but I would really like to see for myself. Honestly, I've already seen some of the crazy stuff that you can do with Orcas, but nonetheless, I'll catch you guys next video. Have a good one. I'm signing out. Peace.